Youth America's Cup. It's a go.
Really close intersection there.
I mean, the America's Cup is the dream for everyone. It's a huge opportunity we have here.
When you come off the foils in one manoeuvre, you sort of get flushed out the back. Sort of inevitable that you're going to crash at points.
Italian team dancing their own dance.
We are happy with our performance. The team is doing a great job.
Right on the edge here.
I mean, well, it's epic, full throttle.
We're going fast here, boys. They banked 10 points.
We managed to win 4 in a row. That's a pump finish. I mean, well, it's epic.
They're all putting on a show today.
It's full on, we're pushing the boats to the limit.
Massive down the hatch there.
When it really knocks your head back, it's very hard to get back to your senses after that.
Big moment for the Australians.
The guys were really pushing the limit today to keep us above the waves. That one we just pushed a little too far.
I feel like we're getting better and we're definitely showing speed at times.
Big leeway skid there of the Kiwis.
Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. They are setting the benchmark. Turning into the team to beat in Group B. Bang! Bienvenidos, this is Barcelona, all set for a make or break Sunday of racing in the UniCredit Youth America's Cup, where some teams are staying in the competition and some are going home. Yesterday in Group B, the Swedish Challenge swept the fleet, racking up 4 straight wins to go top on points as they watched some of their competition make a splash for all the wrong reasons. We return today to finalise the top 3. And then Group A takes the race course with High Flyers Luna Rossa already with 3 wins, intent on reminding everybody how quick and slick they are. All the teams have their eye on the UniCredit Youth America's Cup trophy, but only one crew can win. And after today, the number of challenges will be cut in half. For a chance to win, you need to be one of the 3 top point-scoring teams in your group. You'll then advance to a final series of 4 races, where previous points will be erased, and it starts all over to find the top 2 teams. Those 2 will then go head-to-head in a winner-takes-all single match race final on September 26. We'll start the day with the final 2 races in Group B, where there is a chance that after the opening race we could have our top 3. But with all teams improving and lots of points on offer, there is no guarantee. We then get stuck into the final 4 races in Group A. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli have been the benchmark, but all eyes are on the French. They're yet to start a race, and keen observers know they are sharp. Yes, and that's what Mother Nature says about trying to finish off our series of group races today. It feels like a Daniel Dubois 5th round knockout against Anthony Joshua overnight. Not a lot going on. Well, not for Anthony Joshua anyways. The crews just sit around and wait to see what unfolds. It's a tough time for them. We have been advised by race management that quite simply they will tell the teams when they can dock out. That's why we are in this situation. Stephen McIver with 2-time gold medalist Shirley Robertson, that's Olympic gold medalist by the way, let's make that quite clear. 3-time America's Cup champion Glenn Ashby and American tactician Peter Lester on the water. Let's remind you where the standings hang out, because I think this is where all the talking point comes into it. Let's just take a look at the groups and see what shakes down. Look at Group A for a start. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli team winning 3 in a row, and it took them a while to get going, but boy, when they got going, I felt like I was watching a mini Luna Rossa from the big team, the 75s.
Yeah, I mean, Cup fans will have seen Marco Gradoni perform before in Jeddah, but he's here with his young team, and they look slick and polished and practiced and really ready to take this on.
Look, with the way this points is done, Glenn, it could be anybody's ball game, because if you look at Group B, look, the Swedish Challenge powered by Artemis Technology, they've just run away 4 races in a row. Yes, they were winning, but you know, when you look at the cut line, which is the red line there, because the top 3 teams go through, Concord Pacific Racing and Yacht Team Dutch Sail actually aren't out of it. It's a mathematical thing, but you know, all Canada needs to do is actually get 10 points. Suddenly they're back in the game.
Absolutely, yeah. If they have a couple of good races there and a couple of those leading teams in the top 3 have a wobbly one, they'll make it above the cut line. So absolutely wide open at the moment as to who's going to make it through to the final top 6.
From what we've seen, we know that Sweden and Luna Rossa have been the impressive teams. But did we really expect Sail Team Barcelona to come out, win race 1, and then still sitting there with on the edge now of actually going into the semi-finals?
Look, I think they've sailed really, really well. They haven't had a huge amount of time on the boats, but wow, they've really got the AC40 around the track in great shape. So really impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've all been really impressed, particularly with the invited teams. Only Sweden have had any real significant time on the water in the boat. Of course, all the teams have had their own simulator, but it's a lot different, isn't it? Particularly here in Barcelona, where it's wavy, every day is different, but their learning has been rapid, almost by the race. The improvement's been off the scale. The
perfect example of that yesterday, Shirley, was Team Germany. Right, they went fourth because they finally figured out, okay, we've just got to keep having a go at this, for learning the systems, learning the boat, and it was really encouraging to see. And you know, they are at the bottom of Group B; they're an outside crack, but hey, you know, you never know with this 40s regatta at the moment, do you?
It was a real baptism of fire yesterday for a lot of these teams. I mean, you know, flat water and 12 knots are sort of the ideal conditions where you can get out there and cruise around. But yesterday, wavy, lumpy, random, big waves, small waves, shifty, puffy breeze, and quite decent breeze at times. So they really got chucked in the deep end, and they pushed the boats hard and did a great job.
Today could be challenging for other reasons. I mean, the breeze has rotated round to the south, which is a great direction, but it is soft, and it will, when it comes in, be quite unstable. So I think we could see a really funky condition. Can you foil, can you not? Avoiding the holes in the wind, all of that. And real opportunities, I think, for some of the teams that are below that cut.
Just mastering the conditions is the key, right? If I try not to raise the ire of Glen Ashby, turning corners is the big one, and do Team Australia.
Look, yeah, certainly yesterday was a day of learning, and do Team Australia, in a straight line, crikeys, they were really setting the bar, for straight line performance, and just the old, left turn to right, caught them out a couple of times, but they, like all the teams, will have worked a lot overnight. They will have gone through the beautiful footage and shots that they would have all seen yesterday. They would have studied that, looked back through, and a lot of the teams will have made some adjustments and changes to how they're sailing the boats going forwards. And for these new teams to the AC40s, the learning curve is near vertical.
Yeah, it's probably a good chance to actually remind us what happened yesterday in Group B as well. Because I tell you what, the conditions were, I could use Shirley's French, they were funky and they were rough, but boy, it was spectacular racing. Let us take you back to race 2, Group B yesterday. So here we go. If you think all the sailors, their shore teams and supporters are excited about racing, so are we. We are counting down to a start in race 2, Group B of the UniCredit Youth America's Cup. 1 minute and 45 seconds and counting.
Time here to put your 5-point racing harness on, do it up tight, and make sure you've got a fresh set of tear-offs on your goggles. Today's going to be an exciting day for these teams out here, Shirley.
Yeah, we have been waiting for conditions like this. It is absolutely perfect. A really tight short course. It's going to be full on.
Just a reminder, only 4 legs, okay? So only 4 legs, because we want lots of racing today. Wherever you're watching around the world, welcome to Barcelona on a day where you're going to get plenty of racing, because Mother Nature says, let's do this and do it well. Could be a crazy old afternoon on the water.
Yeah, it's about to get really fast. Target time for this race is only 15 minutes. You've got to be ready to go from the get-go.
Keeping 2 boards.
Heart rates will be up on all these teams, so they're all needing to be lining themselves up to get across that start line in the best possible shape they can and put themselves in a good position off that first boundary to take control of the race.
4 down. And turning. Yours. Forward and turning.
All the teams on the right-hand side of the start box looking to start on starboard. Spain a little early, killing time. Australia attacking the line at pace.
It's a little bit
There'll be quite a few late starters here, I think, Shirley.
Before MUG mode. Alright, slowly coming up here.
Let's go racing. Race 2, Group B, UniCredit Youth America's Cup. We are away.
Australia closest, just 30 metres back.
Everything we can to hold this line, boys. Yep.
Yeah, great start there by Andu, Team Australia. They'll be looking to lock the boat in here. Swedish trying to come up round their bow, so the Swedes in a commanding position at this point in time.
Leaning all the time and by angle. Hit up more leeward here for us. One more.
Lots of boats coming to this boundary all together. Going to be a very interesting rule scenario.
This is great racing.
No issue to leeward, but it's coming on here. Right, okay, Dutch fold out. Really good mode. Your wheel and you can tack anytime. Stand by. 2, 1, port down. Adding rudder. Slack it, yeah. Keep gaining all the time here.
Off the foils there, Andu, Team Australia. That's not the tack they're going to want. The rest of the teams will absolutely sail around them like they're tied to the dock.
Sweden doing really well, going all the way to the boundary.
Nice tack there on the Swedish team.
This is the umpire's boundary penalty Sweden, boundary penalty Sweden.
What an unforced error there by the Swedish, by Artemis Technologies. They're going to have to duck down and get behind to pay their penalty. The lead change potentially. They still haven't watched their penalty there, so a little bit more to do.
I think they were slightly greedy there. There's a chance that you could potentially have got to the ley line. The course is so short.
Penalty clear.
Let's have a look at the Aussie tack there. Just too high on the foils. And down you come. And just having a look, Shirley, at the out of bounds here. How far did they go out? Half a boat length by the look of that. So just pushing a little bit too hard. An unforced error there by the Swedish, but still in the game.
So yesterday's race 1 winner, it's Sail Team Barcelona leading with Yacht Team Dutch Sail, who'll be happy they're up and running after missing out on yesterday, because they are a team that is chock full of talents. Quickly go to Peter Lester on board Chase Zero. Pete, interesting start.
Yeah, it was. That 3 boats were off nice and clean, but then it was a poor start by the rest of the field and giving Sweden and Australia a good jump. The Australians, that touchdown, tacking from starboard to port because of the seaway is really tricky. It'll be easier to tack from port to starboard, but we saw that already so early
Germany
on.
Double
Quite a lot of
penalty,
errors.
Out of bounds. Germany double penalty, out of bounds.
Ouch.
So the Germans there going quite a distance out of bounds there. So if you go too far out of bounds, you will receive a double penalty, and that's exactly what has happened there. We'll just have a look at the replay here, and Germany coming back into the field of play there, but way too far out of bounds. So umpire Richard Slater, double penalty, and they will have to bear away.
Penalty clear.
It was so tantalisingly close to being able to lay the gate.
So at the top gate for the first time and completing the first of 4 legs, it's Sail Team Barcelona leading the fleet around, followed closely by the Swedish challenge. Then Yacht Team Dutch Sail take the opposite mark, following in Concord Pacific Racing. Germany have washed off the penalty, and coming at the tail of the fleet will be Andu Team Australia.
Really nice rounding there by the Dutch team, and the Canadians also. Nice job. So Germans are going to be off the foils here, coming into the top mark, and Andu Team Australia will do the Buffalo Girls around the outside here, back into 5th place there. So all teams having to keep pushing hard here.
We tag boat or port.
Oh, Germans are stuck there, parked on the track.
Yeah, that's not Not exactly how they'd be wanting to get around that top gate, but anyway, at the lead is the Spanish team, the local crew. Really, really sending it downwind here. 2 boards down. They need to get that board up pretty quick, or they are going to get mown down by the Swedish team. You can see the difference in speeds there between the 2 boats, and the Canadians sailing really, really well.
Crossing in 3.
I think the Spanish have an issue with their board, but making the best of it.
Not sure, they're definitely stuck in second gear there for whatever reason.
I think we're gaining if we're going well, so just stick to that. But even pressure.
So heading down on the second leg, it is the Swedish challenge powered by Artemis that are powering away from the fleet at this point. They have got the hammer down.
2-1, who's coming quick? Going to be slightly fat in here. Copy.
Swedish team there just needing to ease that front sail a little bit more on those exits, those dives, although they're sailing really well.
Focus on the performance.
Full stall on the front of the jib there, exiting.
Great pace, the Canadians, when they get rolling. They've done so well to come back from that penalty. Oh!
Massive, massive. Don't argue from the H2O. Push your goggles back on your face.
This is the race committee. We are moving the windward gate, lengthening the course to 1.4 nautical miles and shifting the axis to 0.85.
Canada's Concord Pacific Racing making the most of it.
This is the umpire's Canada boundary penalty. Canada boundary penalty.
Well, that's the adding insult to injury after those 2 touchdowns for Concord Pacific Racing. So they'll have to watch that penalty off as the Swedish challenge. Whoa! That's making the most of the conditions. They will complete 2 legs of 4 in this second race of Group B.
They were leading, just nick this.
Really loose moments here. Team from Barcelona though, Stephen.
Yeah, mate, they're making the most of being on their home track. Although they admitted yesterday they hadn't spent much time on it, but they'll make every post to win it. They've already got 10 points. You've got to finish that top 3 at the end of this. But if you finish the top 3 consistently racing, huge advantage. And Team Australia have really got themselves, so to use your phrase, they've got the big shovels out, Glenn, after their start, that poor tack on leg 1, and now sit in position 3 as they complete 2 legs, followed by Yacht Team Dutch Sail. And then it's Concord Pacific Racing.
Nice rounding there by the Dutch team. The Canadians having to get round cleanly. Really good battle here for the minor placings at the moment.
Every point critical in this. Remember, they're fighting for one of the 3 spots to get them into the next round.
It's 5 laps to the main right now.
So that hydraulic system won't allow that windward board to come up if it's too negatively loaded. So the team's having to balance the aero package and make sure that windward board is neutrally loaded to get it out of the water. Otherwise, the hydraulic system will not let it come out as quickly as it needs to. Really, really loose tack there by the Dutch team, but pulled it off. And Team Australia there will be pressing on the woolies of that jib to try and get across the top of the Dutch there, if they can. Great racing.
On to chase Sarah, Peter Lester. Good racing.
Some teams are just showing really good boat handling, and I'm impressed by the Swedish team. Obviously, they haven't put a foot wrong since they got that early penalty. The other team that are moving through the fleet, and it's through good boat handling, are the Australians. And it will just be interesting to see if the Aussies can roll round the Spanish team. Right now, I think the Aussies are on the charge back there in 3rd position. But out in front, it's still Sweden being really, really solid and doing clean manoeuvres both upwind and downwind.
Most importantly, we can see AC Team Germany back up and forwarding on that second leg, the first downwind. Remember, only 4 legs, so this is leg number 3.
Okay, all of them keep going. Copy.
The Swedish Challenge, powered by Artemis Technologies, have been training here all summer with the Cup, the AC40 Cup teams. And we're really seeing their pedigree shine now. They look pretty polished.
Have to take it back then. I'm just getting into something here. Okay, in for it. Coming up back again here. He could take the right mark lane here. Yeah, it's too
on a big slowdown there by the team from Barcelona. A couple of big touchdowns there upwind. That'll wash off a lot of pace for them. So, Andu Team Australia and the team from Yago Dutch Sail will be really mowing them down quickly if they can't get the boat up to speed again quickly.
No va bien. Te da igual, aprieta, déjame buscar la vida.
Aboard with Sail Team Barcelona. Martin Wisner and Jaime Framis.
Vale, hay dos en la izquierda,
Controls at the moment.
un poco, iremos al cruce. ¿Quiénes son? No sé, Australia y Holanda, creo.
The Swedes really locking in there, and some really nice accurate boat speed there.
They are nearly in the zone, but not yet.
This is the view from the rear of Andu Team Australia and the Dutch team and the Australian team having a fierce battle here for second and third position.
Today, when we wanted to see if the Swedish could deliver on this promise of being one of the favoured teams in the competition, they are showing exactly why they are one of the favoured 12 to advance into the semi-finals. It's only one race. They finished P3 yesterday. Right now, they're looking at the top set, the maximum 10 points if they can get this job done in race 2.
Might be a sneak if we're up to 40 in the drive.
Really nice bear away there from the Swedes. And surely it looks like the Australians, if they can lay into this right turn, will be in second position. So the Aussies on the charge, needing to sail cleanly, need some good points on the board to try and make that top 3 cut to move into the final group. But cannot make a mistake with the Dutch right up their exhaust pipe here.
So it is going to be a tight race in race number 2 for the minor placings if it stays this way. Andu Team Australia through. We believe that there goes Yayo Team Dutch Sail. In comes Sail.
The Swedish
Barcelona
front are off their foils. Stephen have had a wipeout. And it's
not over.
It is all on here. Big go down for the Swedish team. Just have a quick look here at the replay. And the jibe, getting too high and slow. And washing off all their speed. And that is a huge hit the brakes there. Twin vent of both foils. So, and Australia a wobbly jibe there as well. Can they hang on to it? Really loose there on the Aussie boat.
See stake getting bigger and bigger.
Right on the edge here. It's going to be time to pull on the big boy pants here and send it.
So on the final lap, we've got a lead change. It all looked comfortable for the Swedish challenge. And one jibe cost them the lead. Now it's Andu Team Australia, followed by Yayo Team Dutch Sail, and then the Swedish Challenge. My word. Well, Shirley did say edge of your seat racing, and that's exactly what you are getting.
Just keep an eye on the Dutch team. They are sending. They were sending it.
This is AC40 racing at its best. Right on the edge here. The team's absolutely on the edge of control here. Full send, so huge amount of trimming and steering going on here. The Swedish there. It's anyone's race here. These next manoeuvres absolutely critical to get down to the bottom mark. So potentially only one more jibe needed for Andu Team Australia if they can make it through to the boundary there. On board, Yayo Team Dutch Sail just ploughing it through the back of that wave. full vent on the foil at over 30 knots of boat speed. And another touchdown from the Dutch. So the Australians just needing to keep it together here. They need to execute this jibe and keep the boat foiling. Nice job there. Trav down, keep it fast.
It is so on the edge.
Oh, fantastic job there by the Aussies to get through that jibe. So Cole Tapper and Tom Needham now taking change of helm and trimming duties over Jack Ferguson and Max Paul. So anyone's game still here if they...
Just know these sailors are pushing the AC40s to the limit. Can they execute the final jibe and do Team Australia and get the win?
All important jibe here from the Australian team.
Lining up the finish line and do Team Australia. There's that saying, if you're not first, you're last. Well, they've gone from last to first. And do Team Australia get the win in race 2 of Group B and the full 10 points. What a race to start the day. It was a heck of a recovery when you think about it for Andu Team Australia, because they did go from basically last to first after that opening tack on the first upwind leg, and it was a really important one too because it gave them the full 10 points. So after 2 races, the locals, Sail Team Barcelona, who'd won the first and only race on the day before, was still just a point ahead of them, okay, picking up that 4 points, followed by Artemis's Swedish challenge. So, and then you just got to remind, every time we look at the points table here on the UniCredit Youth America's Cup, keep an eye on the cut line. The cut line is that red line that splits the two threes, because the top 3 of each group go through to the 4-race semi-final. So there you saw Concord Pacific Racing with a strong third there, Yayo Team Dutch Sail, and last were Team Germany. So the situation we are still in at the moment is waiting for racing. All the teams are basically just going to have to look around. Maybe they're watching this right now or their own social media channels or whatever, but we will not move those boats off the dock until race management say that you can come off the dock and get out for racing. So that's the situation they are in. But when you think about that Australian team, gee whiz, weren't they good? Emirates Team New Zealand, of course, they're in Group A in the America's Cup team. They're in a little bit of bother really because they're sitting below the cut line. They're below the cut line. Now, you cannot be below the cut line. So they've got a lot of work to do. And hopefully, the likes of Leo Takahashi and the crew can get them back into that situation. Yeah, it's a nice day out here. Shirley Robertson and Glenn Ashby. I mean, you know, after that second race, the one thing that stood out, the ability for both the Swedish and the Australians to recover from a little bit of drama.
Certainly plenty of drama, and they did really, and I think the Swedish team just really showed what a bit of practice and a bit of time on the water can do. You know, just a little more refined in turning some of the corners, not necessarily pushing the boat, you know, as hard as they might have wanted to do, but really did a great job.
So we are still in delay. That's the most important thing, but don't worry, there's still plenty of racing still to come. So let's talk about moving forward in history and what history means. You think about Andu Team Australia and what they are providing us. The amount of entertainment they have given us. But if you go back in time and you go to 1983, John Bertrand pulled off an America's Cup miracle, broke the world's longest winning streak, defeated the Americans and took the old mug down under. Now, these youngsters in Andu Team Australia are determined to emulate his success, restore Australia's prominence in the world of sailing, and take the UniCredit Youth America's Cup down under.
The Youth America's Cup is definitely the biggest regatta any of us youth sailors have been a part of.
It's a really big thing for our country to bring Australia back to the America's Cup. While we've been out of the Cup since the early 2000s, this is the start of something new for Australia. I think it's going to be really competitive, probably one of the most competitive youth cups we've had before. The racing, due to the nature of these boats, if you've got the boat handling, I think the racing's going to be very close.
There's been some big names come through the ranks in this competition, and it's something that it just inspires us so much to know that it's possible to make that leap into the larger America's Cup and our role models that we've been watching have been through the same pathway. So it's something that really motivates us as a team, and it just drives us to work even harder.
It's a big thing being able to represent your own country. Australians have suffered over the last few years having to represent other countries on the America's Cup stage.
This campaign is all about building a pathway. So between us youth sailors and our female sailors, we just want to bring that momentum, and to be the people who could lift that cup and start something for Australia again would just be so special.
Strengths of the Aussie youth team, we've got a fairly diverse team. Everyone comes from different backgrounds. We've got match racing, we've got fast boats, we've got slow boats, we've got Olympic pathways, and bringing everyone together in a unique fashion. We know we're the underdogs, and so collaborating and coming together has been our biggest strength. I'm a trimmer on board the AC40. We're responsible for the speed and the safe handling of the yacht. I'm sat behind Cole Tapper in the boat. He's our port driver. He's our resident match racer in the team, I guess. He's had a lot of success on the match racing world tour, and he brings the rules knowledge, the close racing, the tactics and the strategy to our team.
Well, the team will tell you that I'm not a fast boat expert. I'm a slow boat sailor, but they've quickly brought me up to speed on that, and that's something I find strength in on the other side of the yacht with Jack Ferguson. He's done a lot of moth sailing and 49er sailing, and he brings the speed, and sometimes it can be scary, but now we've built that trust, and you just got to let him go. You know, he's a pretty aggressive sailor.
We've got Max Paul, starboard trimmer, sitting behind Jack. He brings a lot of confidence to our team. He's a successful 49er sailor. He's done campaigns with previous Olympic medalists, so he's got a lot of experience racing at the top of the fleet.
Tom Needham is nothing if not meticulous. He is so detail oriented, and he's really stepped up the level of the team in terms of our accuracy.
6 minutes, we got one more lap. That lap took just under 4 minutes.
Having someone like that on board with just such a great understanding of the boat and the fine details has really lifted our performance, I think. To race in the AC40 is something that we're learning as we go. As a team, admittedly, we've had less time in the boats training, but we feel that we've still developed a really good understanding of how all the systems work using the Team New Zealand simulator.
And as our team, that's our best training tool to practice sailing these AC40s. We don't have the fortunate position to be able to own one of these boats, and so sailing the simulator, putting hours in every day, every week, has been our best way to move forwards. The AC40, it's a bit of a beast. It's unlike anything I think any of us have ever sailed before. It's a really cool, high-performance, technical boat. But in saying that, the one design racing aspect means that it's going to be close racing, close finishes. Everyone will be tacking right next to each other. It's going to be awesome action.
As a team, our strength is our diversity. We've got really different mindsets across the boat that have meshed really well over the past year. Took a little bit of time to dial in just because of how we process information, and now that we've found that balance, we know how to get the best out of each other, and it's something that we're really looking forward to bringing onto the stage.
All of us in this team know how much of a big event this is for each of us individually as well as a team. For me personally, it would be probably the biggest moment of my youth sailing career. I'm really looking forward to the event, and I hope we can make it something special.
You can hear the excitement coming off the comms, can't you, with all these AC40 sailors. I just noted down cool, high-performance, technical boats. Got everything, hasn't it, Shirley?
I loved in the VT, they said it was a bit scary. Well, they certainly weren't scared yesterday. They were absolutely sending it, as we can see around the track. That fear has long gone.
They would have learned a lot from yesterday, wouldn't they, Glenn?
Absolutely, yeah. You learn, with a lot of things in the sport of sailing, learning what not to do as important as learning what to do. And I think sometimes, making a few little wobbles here and there, it actually really, really encourages you and forces you into, changes, learning, asking questions, how, what and why can we do it better. So all the team's learning a lot at the moment for sure.
Yeah, fantastic resilience and tenacity. I mean, they came back from every spill to get a result on the board, and that's pretty impressive.
And I think going forward in this UniCredit Youth America's Cup, that will be the key to the teams that will go further. Ability to, whoops, make that mistake, go, now we got this, and keep moving forward.
It's absolutely, it's bouncing back from those wobbles, and you see some of the teams that are doing well, how quickly they go from a wobble to getting locked back in again. That's super key.
Okay, so that was race number 2, but there is still more to come. And look at that, Paul Goodison. How about that? Nice to see him out smiling, hey Glenn?
Absolutely, yeah. Paul's been through the ringer, a big roller coaster ride, an old waff dog there with a bicky, and Sarah
and Mel from race management. What's she doing out there? She's on the boat.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Scraper in the background there. No, they're all there enjoying a bit of Mel's cooking. So she does a beautiful job in the kitchen, Mel, and supplying some of her lovely bickies to the teams there. So it might be not much wind, but they'll be enjoying having a feast there. Nice work, Mel.
Tell you what, they look good. They look good cookies too. Might have to have a chat to Mel about those cookies, actually. So just a note here, we have delayed racing on this day of the UniCredit Youth America's Cup. When we go racing, we will let you know. In the meanwhile, excuse me, let's go back to Group B and race 3 yesterday. Remembering, Sail Team Barcelona sitting in position 1 on the points.
Nearly all the teams pretty line shy on the last start. I think we'll see a bolder lineup this time.
Yeah, this will be a bit like getting into a Dakar race buggy and sending it through the sand dunes here after spending a year or so on a simulator. It's going to be eyes wide open, hang on and send it sort of stuff, and trust the gear, trust the technology, but also trust your skills and have confidence. And sailing with confidence, surely in these conditions, is what it's all about.
Yeah, I mean, only one of these teams has really had any significant hours on a real boat in the waves. So they're learning quickly.
2 votes on the hip.
So there is the Swedish Challenge powered by Ardens. Had the lead in the bag, you could have said, at the top gate, and heading on the downward. One poor jibe cost them the win. But they still sit in position 3 points-wise in Group B. A reminder, the top 3 in each group go through the 4-race semi-final session. We're closing out on a start.
2 boats coming in from the left-hand side.
So possibly 2 of the teams looking for a split start and heading over to the right-hand side. So both the Canadians and the Netherlands team having to give way to the starboard tack yachts coming through. So lining up for a start here.
A nice approach by Australia.
A brilliant start there by Andrew Team Australia.
And we are racing in race 3, Group B, UniCredit Youth America's Cup.
A glamour of a start from the Australians, only 16 metres off the line. They've practiced that a few times in the simulator.
So we see the 2 teams, the Canadians.
The umpire's Spain boundary penalty. We want you to lose another 40 metres compared to Germany.
And the Dutch team, they're heading over to the right-hand side of the course. So they were quite a long way behind the starboard tackers. So big distance lost to make up. You can see the distance there that they are behind. But are they going to the favoured side of the course? Time will tell.
30 seconds, 20 to the zone. Copy that.
Spain, you still have 20 metres to go.
Gonna set up at the zone. 10 seconds to the zone. We're clear to go anytime. Looking for a spot. Copy.
Lovely comms.
Spain, you have still 30 metres. Second penalty took more than a minute.
2, 1, 4 down. 30.
Penalty clear.
Beautiful tack there by Andrew Team Australia. That's a keeper. Big battle down here with the Dutch team and the Swedish. Big duck there by Sweden. And there's going to be some bow-on-bow action coming up here over the next 30 seconds.
On to chase 0, Peter Lester.
Yeah, I like the transfer there on the Australian boat. Cole Tapper over to Jack Ferguson steering on port. Just in terms of the way they sequence through that tack, It just shows how much time they haven't spent a lot of time sailing these boats, but they come from a skiff background, whether it's 18-footers or 49ers, and of course Cole Tapper's using his boat-on-boat match racing skills, and that really showed, I think, off the line in that first tack.
So currently Andu Team Australia just the 1 point behind Team Barcelona in the points. Stronger start, that will give them a whole heap more confidence as they head to the top gate.
Really nice roll control on Andu Team Australia there. Max Paul, Tom Needham on aero trim, and they are really the throttle men on these boats, so holding the power on and controlling the accuracy of the aero package.
They look really locked in. I mean, the boat's been beautifully smooth all the way up this leg.
They've had a bad tack there, I think, the Australians, but they have a little bit of a lead, but the rest of the fleet will be mowing them down quickly.
The battle here between the Dutch and the Swedes, absolute corker.
Oh, a big touchdown there by the Dutch team. Out of that tack, you can see the wash off their boat, and they have had a huge splash down there. So they were in the leading pack, and now will be bringing up the rear in just a matter of seconds.
And just quietly going about their thing is Concord Pacific Racing from Canada, sitting in second position, as we can see, is Andu Team Australia. Finish leg number 1 of 4 and will round the top gate for the first time.
Oh, touchdown. They've got it under control though, the Aussies. Nice little catch there, back up into the power zone quickly and getting fired out of the cannon, so they are ripping down there, but the battle is all on behind them.
Piccadilly Circus behind them. In comes the Swedish Challenge, powered by Artemis. Concord Pacific Racing from Canada follows them. Sail Team Barcelona, who picked up from where they had 2 penalties, washed it off, and they're doing okay. In comes ACT Germany in 5th position, and then it will be Yacht Team Dutch Sail.
Sail Team Barcelona having a couple of big touchdowns there, and they'll need to get the flow reattached on their sail plan. Very stalled there. Boat will be very, very tippy and out of balance without getting the correct attachment of flow around the sails. The Dutch team, a really nice rounding as well. They are behind at the moment, but they're pushing hard, and they'll be looking to make up some ground on the boats just in front of them there. Just having a look at the rounding here from the Australians, and really just punching out of the wave there in front. Just a little late on the trim up on the Traveller there, and doing a really nice job, Shirley, of just catching that. Basically, the hull is actually planing there. It's very much skimming over the surface, so just a quick splash and go, back up on the foil again. Nice job.
Good steering, quick reactions.
So it's Andu Team Australia on leg 2 of 4 in this 3rd race of Group B. They're just 1 point behind the points leaders in Sail Team Barcelona. On to chase 0, Peter Lester. Australia looking strong again.
Yeah, good boat handling, good boat control, and what I'm noticing is quite a wide cant angle as they stick it in that job. Wow, that was a big one. But they tend to be low flow. Well, a lot of water on board from that one. Just gave them a bouquet and then they stick it in.
Cockpits will be full there. That is going to be a huge reset and lead change now. The Swedish coming down absolutely throttle wide open there, as are the Canadians behind. So the Australians going to have to get that cockpit drained quickly and re-establish their foiling, or they will be at the back of the field.
So lead change again on the downward leg. This time it's the Swedish Challenge, powered by Artemis, who've taken the lead from Andu Team Australia, who are in a bit of bother. Going to drain the pool, and away they go again.
Just getting caught in no man's land there. The Aussies really tricky to get the boat through that dead downwind when the rig unloads, and not easy there, but the Swedish team doing a brilliant job of executing their manoeuvres well and now taking the lead.
Yeah, and this is what we get from the AC40s in conditions like this. Constant lead changes. Swedish challenge, powered by Artemis, now back in front of the fleet. Leading from Concord Pacific Racing out of Canada. Just quietly going about their business. Andu Team Australia back up and boiling. Closely being followed by Sail Team Barcelona. So 2 of the 4 legs complete by Canada.
A big skid there by the Canadians. Nice control, but a big slowdown on that turn. So
in comes Andu Team Australia, and you can see behind them it's Yacht Team Dutch Sail have recovered. Sail Team Barcelona will come in position 5, and ACT Team Germany looks like they've had another moment. Oh, that's Spain. They're off their foils.
This is the umpire's penalty Spain, relative and penalty clear.
There's a lot going on. I think that was a coming together with the Dutch team.
Australian team there and the Canadian, sorry Stephen, just pulling off those tacks on the boundary. So big race on here for the minor placings. Sweden have a comfortable lead at the moment, but as we've seen, any little wobble and they will get mown down. So the battle is on for the minor placings.
Yeah, every point is so crucial. The top 3 from this round will go into the next round of the Youth America's Cup. So really crucial to protect every point.
It's just as... So there are your top 3 positions at this point. It's the Swedish challenge, powered by Artemis, Concord Pacific Racing from Canada, and Andu Team Australia, who held the lead until that big moment on leg number 2 downwind. So this is the second to last leg of the race. Remember, just 4 legs. And points are critical. What's also critical is not to make a mistake.
A really great battle here between the Canadians and the Australians. This will come down to a boat handling race from here, Shirley.
You can't help but be impressed by these 2 teams. They haven't had a boat to practice on, but they are learning quickly. They're used to sailing fast boats. It is pretty impressive.
This is the race committee. We are moving the finish line, shortening the leg to 1.2 nautical miles.
So ready for my board call, Andrew? Boundaries in 30, so they're getting to it in 10. Let's make sure we're up to speed here.
Let's see what's going on for Andu Team Australia.
Under flat, on down. 2, 1, port down. 2, 1, port up. It's on away,
Bad tack there by Andu Team Australia, and that will cost them hundreds of metres coming off the foils again. You'll just see the distance that the Canadians pulling off their tack cleanly will put on the Aussies, and it's a big slowdown. So boat handling so critical in these tricky conditions. And the Canadians really mowing down the Swedes in front of them. So big job by the Aussies to get back on the foils here again, and they will have Team Barcelona and the Dutch team not far behind them when they get going. So have to keep the foot on the gas here.
It's interesting watching Concord Pacific Racing. It's not as if they're trying to throw the boat and thrash it, but just take it nice and conservatively and say, right, we need points, just take it easy, because we know others are really trying to throw them around.
It's definitely about doing your manoeuvres, Stephen, in the most smooth water you possibly can. So you see the Australian team go through the tack here. It's getting a little heel, slow, so just a little more work to do there on just keeping that platform nice and flat and keeping those foils nice and evenly loaded. So just a bad wave there for the Aussies, but they'll be hoping to hang on and get some points on the board here, but the rest of the fleet breathing down their neck now.
So heading to the top gate for the last time, and it's the Swedish Challenge powered by Artemis Technologies who hold the lead. Now remember, they were in this position in the last race. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, but they lead the fleet around.
Everything down from it, coming up. He's sinking up. Back on the heel. There you go, there you go.
Nice rounding there, Shirley. That's a keeper.
And 37 is target, and I'm just focusing heel here. Yeah, good.
In comes Concord Pacific Racing representing Canada. Nice and smooth, nice and easy from the Canadians. Got the downwind, homeward leg to go.
3, 2, 1, turning.
110, 130, 145.
Little up here, a little up. Big up, big up, big up. Gotcha.
Okay, you're at setting.
Little momentum gap.
And a really close bow and bow. Mark running here, the Dutch possibly just in front of Andu Team Australia here, so very, very close race for third position.
10 seconds to the mark.
Wow, how about this? Yacht Team Dutch out, Andu Team Australia ripping past each other and getting around that top gate and heading home. Every little moment just on the edge of these magnificent AC-40 flying machines. Sail Team Barcelona in position 5, and AC Team Germany are not having the best of days.
The Dutch team there just under 40 knots of boat speed, absolutely boosting down there. They've had a fantastic rounding there. The Australians on the limiter as well, and going to be a real battle here for third position.
On to chase zero, Peter Lester. You've got to be impressed with the Swedish boat.
Yeah, Sweden look rock solid, and in fact they did in the first one as well, but they had that touchdown. So downwind is actually harder going for the teams in terms of boat handling than upwind. What I'm looking forward to is the end of this for third and fourth. There's a real carrot there for the Netherlands to try and pull off a third over the Aussies.
One, 4 down.
This will be a big race for the Swedish challengers. Will jump them into the points lead.
And 2, 1, 4 down.
Consistency is the key. They were third in race 1, second in race 2, and if they can bag the 10 points here, we said you saying that top 3 points scoring, you're going to be well on your way to the semi-finals.
And a beautiful job there by Artemis Swedish Challenge, powered by Artemis Technologies. They will be looking forward to some big points.
So a consistently performed race number 3 in Group B of the UniCredit Youth America's Cup, and the win will go to the Swedish Challenge powered by Artemis. They banked the full 10 points. So that was after race 3 of Group B racing yesterday, and it jumped Artemis up to the top of the points table. But the mover really was Concord Pacific Racing with that second place finish, picking up the 7 points, and Andu Team Australia staying in that. But so you can see them just above the cut line ahead of Sail Team Barcelona, who dropped out of the top 3. 5th Yacht Team Dutch Sail, and AC Team Germany sitting in last position. So I suppose the thing that, again, was Australia just in their manoeuvres, Glenn, right? Because they were in a good position early.
Yeah, obviously giving the boat a pretty hard time, the Australian team, but full credit to the design of this boat, and I know that it has been spoken about, quite a bit over the last couple of years, the AC40 class being established and a few years old now, the design sort of being designed in the early stages of AC36 back in Auckland, and you just see the sort of punishment that the boats get put through, and the fact that you can turn around, the cockpit's drained by themselves, you sheet on and go again and get around the track, and those guys actually finish third just after that start is a real credit to the structural engineering and the computer fluid dynamics and the FEA, the finite element analysis structurally of having a look at the structures needed for this type of punishment. You can actually model all of this now all by computer, and that all the boats get designed by the engineers with these load cases in mind.
suppose the other thing, Shirley, too, when we looked at Sweden, they were starting to look like Luna Ross, weren't they? Just in sync.
Well, it's not rocket science, really. Practice does make perfect, and particularly in conditions like this where manoeuvres were so key. A lot of the boats actually had great straight line speed, but really struggling in the corners. And yeah, even just listening to their audio, which is well practiced, professional, they've been well coached, they're a class act.
Yeah, well, the key here is that the Swedish Challenger own their own boat. And they've got more time on water experience than any of the other Group B challengers, and they could be hard to catch.
Being here in Barcelona, having Artemis technologies behind us, it's huge. I was a small kid a few years ago seeing the big cups when Artemis was in it, and now I'm sitting here being a part of it.
We've had a long year since we started about a year and a half ago, working together and training in the Moth and Wasps and a lot in the simulator. And now it's pretty cool how it's just been narrowing down throughout the time in the team and just the intensity of the whole group.
Yeah, I think Artemis technologies behind us, it means everything. Like their experience from cups before, but also like the people in the company and their knowledge.
In Belfast, they have the simulator, which it's a big platform, which is like raised above the ground, and it kind of moves around. You kind of feel all the forces, and it's very responsive to everything that you're doing on the boat.
I think Artemis does it very well. They did the 2 cups. We started foiling and taking all those years of development to actually do something bigger than just for the sport. It's something we're really proud of, and connect like sport and sailing and development in that area to actually do something good for the planet as well. It's huge.
So I'm the port trimmer on the boat, and in front of me I have Ludwig Lindqvist, who has a really long background in the laser class. He has an incredible talent, I think, from the racing side, which he can really bring to the team. Just racing in such a big fleet for Ludde, I think that really helps in this style of racing as well.
And then behind Ludde, on the port side, trimming on port, is Hugo Christensen, who's been, also started in dinghy and done a few Olympic campaigns, and lately been sailing a lot of Moth.
And then on the other side we have Rasmus and Oscar Engström, who have sailed together for a lot of years in the M32, which I think helps since they know each other a lot. And I think we're all 4 quite different, which complements us quite well. I'm a bit more maybe stable in my mood, and the others maybe get a bit more intense when stuff is going on, which I think quite helps in the racing. So it's a good team. The America's Cup is something I've been following for probably 12 years since I started sailing, and something I've always wanted to become part of. And
being where pretty much every sailor is at the moment in Barcelona, and competing against the best in our age, you couldn't dream about anything else.
So next generation of Swedish AC-75 sailors, and there is a history, and it'll be a good history to follow, won't it be?
They're fantastic sailors. The Swedish, a big history at the Olympic level, but also, of course, they had a cup team back in Bermuda, Artemis Racing, and a lot of the brains of Artemis, a lot of the designers moved into Artemis Technologies, and it's great to see them behind this young team. And it's a whole program all over, the main sailing clubs in Sweden, just bringing youth and talent, getting them foiling, and they've really approached this Youth America's Cup with an impressive detail and professionalism.
Certainly have, and they'll be definitely one of the teams to watch, and could potentially give some of the cup teams a run for their money in this upcoming series if they can make it through on the top of the table. It looks like they'll make it through to the final with the way they're sailing at the moment, but stand by, anything could happen.
Right, did you say make it through to the final? Wow. Wow, okay, so big call early. Well, I like that, but fans are out waving the flags, and remember, top 3 teams go to that semi-finals, 4 races, and then the top 2 scoring teams go through to the finals. So as the flag waves, and that's about as much wind as we've got, people waving flags to try and create some wind. Alrighty. Alrighty, let's take it to give you some more racing here. Let's go back to Group B, racing yesterday because there was plenty of it, and this is Fleet Race 4.
This is the
Like what
umpire's
Glenn
Netherlands
just talked
boundary
about.
penalty, Netherlands boundary penalty.
Richard Slater coming there, another unforced error. I think the key, you know, is the sea state. The wind seems to be down a little bit, but the sea state has not changed, and it's very confused. And the thought going through my mind is we talk a lot about pumping the boundaries, but if you get committed to the boundary line and there's a big sea state running, that's when we're seeing those touchdowns on the edges of the course.
So that's a little jab to the ribs for Yo-Yo Team Dutch Sail. Boundary penalty just before the start. Not what they need.
No, they can't seem to catch a break at the moment. I mean, so much talent and potential on that boat, and just struggling to string it together.
Not sure. 40-hour dipping. We're dipping them.
There is your lead team. The Swedish Challenge, powered by Artemis Technologies. So smooth in the last race.
So really important in this last minute to keep the boat on the foils and avoid a big touchdown and a full rebuild. So time on distance now critical for all the teams.
Quite a big bias on the line towards the right-hand side of the screen. Swedish out far to the right-hand side, just being patient, waiting.
1.5, getting faster. 820, great gap. So we're 0.5 deep here, so we're faster now. 0.7.
Sweden building pace.
They should get a nice opening there at the top end of the line, but possibly a little late.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Trim out.
It's a go in race 4 of Group B, UniCredit Youth America's Cup. All the fleets going.
OCS, you have 2 penalties, 50 metres.
No!
Go catch. Okay, look at it here.
Loss of distance there needed by Yayo Team Dutch Sail. They'll have to put their bow down.
4 down. And turning.
Decided to pull those penalties off in attack, so they've got a bit on here. Possibly a big collision, just avoiding. Wow, that was a really, really big spin there. That was very close to being a collision there.
Well, the closest boat to the line legally was the Canadians, 1.2 meters behind. They're getting the hang of it.
Penalties clear.
And do Team Australia getting off the start line beautifully again. Very, very even between the Canadians, the Swedish and the Australians. So decision here for the Aussies. What they do.
Guys, this just makes sense to me. Yeah, you're all good. Coming into a big close.
Just having a look at the Dutch team there, just over by half a boat length with a penalty, so a double penalty for them. They've got a bit of work to do, the Dutch team, to get back into this top 3, otherwise they will be cut. But it is the Canadians and the Australians, top right of screen, that are sailing well and currently in control of this race.
I think everyone's just locked in on port here for the next 15 at least.
On board handling Team Australia.
So I am going to stay at this angle, okay? Yeah, stand by for my board call here. Can we go behind? We're not laying. Negative. Canadians are higher, faster. Coming up slowly.
Great pace of the Canadians. Australia just slipping down.
We're all clear. Racing Canadian anytime.
Okay. Going at 5. Waiting for the speed. Pressing.
You still got good speed.
Okay, stand by. Forward.
Go, board, go, board. Okay, all clear. Water.
Light.
Yeah, we'll get it. Wide up.
The dummy there by the Canadians, the old board down, carry on straight, and pull the board out again. So got the Australians to get the tack in, but I don't know if they are laying. If they do lay, they'll be in great shape, but if they don't, they'll have 3 boats behind them to deal with as they try and get through the gate. So very close race at the top.
It's very tight for that lay line.
So coming into the top gate in race 4, it looks a bit like rush hour out there, but it will be Andu Team Australia coming in to lead the pack around. Yacht Team Dutch Sailor, that 6th spot, having to do a lot of work. 1 leg of 4 completed. And Australia takes them round, followed closely by the Swedish, the Canadian, South Team Barcelona.
Beautiful bear away there by the Swedish.
Spanish around. In comes AC Team Germany. Really feeling better about themselves this time around. Getting up and sailing hard.
Coming down. Slow.
I need to go down.
And in comes Yacht Team Dutch Sail. They are on the cusp. They need big points, and they've got a long way to haul the rest of the fleet in. But we know, one moment at the front, everything can change.
Oh, an event there by Yacht Team Dutch Sail. That's going to be painful. That's a big rebuild there at the top end of the course, so they're going to lose some further distance there, down to 18 knots of boat speed. Now 15, so they've got a big distance to make up.
Let's go on board with Peter Lesser. It's like a drag race between 1 and 2, Peter.
Yeah, and they're probably the 2 most impressive teams out there, the Swedish and the Australians, evenly matched. They really do look pacey.
Now,
And they quick.
Spain penalty relative to Canada.
More penalties on the course, but the first and second to me are the 2 class acts out here in this fleet.
Absolutely ripping downwind here, both boats. 37, 38 knots of boat speed, right on the edge of grip.
Gap up slightly, be fast. Copy. Anytime. Going in. Holding a bit. Yeah. Going now. Yeah. 2, 1. 4 down. Slow turn. Early invert.
Andu Team Australia repeat, unfortunately, of that last race. So the Swedish there just blowing straight by. Big rebuild there for the Aussies.
Let's go right. Heading up early here, I think 2 boards.
Suppose you were the coaching, you would mean that you would be screaming. Thought you would have learned. So that opens the gate now for the other teams that are following Andu Team Australia.
Both teams there holding it through, but the Swedes just doing a better job.
And haven't they just, because they lead the team, they lead the fleet around, Glenn.
2 good tries for Sweden, keeping it safe.
Big gains on this one. Right here.
The fast improving boat is Sail Team Barcelona. Top gate sitting in, I think it was 4th position, now in position 2 as they go around that left-hand mark, as you said, and complete 2 legs of 4. Andu Team Australia have recovered. Oh, wow. Corners for them, Glenn. And nipping up on the inside is Concord Pacific Racing from Canada. The Germans are around as well. They'll move into position 4.
These manoeuvres really tricky here. The Australians having to dig their way back into this race. They're sailing the boat well in a straight line.
Bottom of the course is definitely bumpier. I think it's quite near the shore. Waves are bouncing off, causing all kinds of havoc.
Not over yet. Yacht Team Dutch South, last boat around the bottom mark, and up they go for leg number 3 of 4. Lots of work to do, but look what we've seen.
Just getting really high there on the foils. not being able to get the load onto that new foil and just having to unload the sail plan a little more, a little bit of traveller management, just to get that new foil into the water and attach flow.
Big day for the trimmers.
Huge day for all the trimmers today. Really, really tricky conditions, and the autopilot struggling to keep up with what's going on as well. So the Swedes really, really stretching out.
Of course, used for flight control, not driving the boat.
Coming in here. Target is 27. Over the call.
Germans slipping their way through a couple of boats there as well, Shirley, so looks like they're learning fast on the job.
They're much more together, aren't they, in this race?
A big pressure coming in. Lefty. Good pressure now.
We continue for a bit and then we tack.
Maybe to go try all the way, Maro.
Yeah, maybe one and then. Can you get a bit of a high mode?
Yeah.
It's quite hard to do one and then.
It looks like flat ahead, so.
Yeah. Let's continue here.
This is a big performance by AC Team Germany, considering they were the last two races, and then Sail Team Barcelona again have snuck through the feet while everybody makes the mistakes and sitting in position two. Remember, they have a win already on the board, and they've dropped below the cut line, so 7 points could be a monstrous move on the table for the locals.
Been impressed by the Canadians. Just watch this top mark rounding. Each time they come and do that quite hard manoeuvre around the top mark, they just wait their moment. Sometimes it looks like they overlay a little bit, but they just wait till they get a flat spot on the water. And I think overall that is reflecting. They seem to be sailing the boat way within themselves to make sure they just get good solid points over the fleet.
Big moment, leaders Swedish challenge off the foils.
This is the moment it happened. Going for the tack.
Yeah, just bow there, getting caught up in a wave and then a slower turn. So washing a lot of speed off, getting a lot of aero drag out the back, even further flying the bow up. So really tricky conditions, but they've managed to hang on to the lead here coming into the top. So they'll be looking to hang on down this final downwind.
Good recovery by the points leaders in Group B, the Swedish Challenge powered by Artemis Technologies. One more leg to go, and they're heading towards the finish. And they bag win number 2 today. Don't count your chickens in this AC40 racing. One moment can cost you. Sail Team Barcelona coming in position 2, followed closely by Concord Pacific Racing out of Canada. They're just quietly banking the points, the Canadians.
Some loose moments there on board the Spanish.
Sail Team Barcelona coming in to round the right-hand mark as you see it, followed by Andu Team Australia and Yacht Team Dutch Sail. Have made up some ground, but they have got a lot of ground to make up if they want to be in a high point scoring position.
I'm sure all these teams will be well aware of the points, but the Australian team and the Spanish boat are on equal points in 3rd position. So currently for the Spanish, this is a critical moment. This is a big race. If they can hold on to this position.
I will. What did that mean? 2, 1.
Well, they've managed to get through the jibe cleanly, the Spanish, so really, really nice jibe there. Pressure on the Australians now have also pulled off their jibe, so some big, big moments here on this downwind for all the teams, pushing hard, valuable points on the table.
So clear leader at this point. Swedish Challenge, powered by Artemis Technologies, on course for their second win and a big points lead in Group B. Remember, the other group is Group A, the America's Cup teams, and the big points there do not also Prada Pirelli.
Great pace on the Barcelona boat, over 38 knots.
Yeah, that's ripping downwind in this sea state. Barcelona team just on the edge of control. Fantastic ride there they'll be having.
Good save, they just need to get across the line.
Oh, Canada. Hold on.
And they're off the foils too now, the Canadians. Full rebuild for them as well. They've absolutely done the handbrake turn there.
And in the meantime, 2 in a row for the Swedish Challenge powered by Artemis. Turning into the team to beat in Group B. Bang! 10 more points, folks. We'll take it. So that was race 4 in Group B of the UniCredit Youth America's Cup, and ominous signs for the rest of that fleet with 2 race wins in a row from the Swedish Challenge powered by Artemis. Sail Team Barcelona still in the hunt, along with Andu Team Australia. Still no sign of racing on this day. Just a reminder here, the fleet is still parked up at the docks, and we'll just wait and see what happens. Team Germany down the bottom, still getting in the points, and that's the most important thing. But we were talking about this yesterday, weren't we, Shirley? 2007, the last time Germany were in the America's Cups. This might be a nice way to maybe get them back in the big game.
Well, you never know. A full-blown America's Cup team is a big investment, but it could well just light the spark, and that gets interest both commercially and also a benefactor in just to ignite it all. You never know. And look at the talent. I mean, they've really done well. Hardly any time on the boat, but really pushed forward, and great sailors in this fast boat arena.
I got to say that listening to Maru Shiel on helm is a wonderful thing, and their comms are very, very strong indeed, and that's AC Team Germany. So they've got a bit of a way to go, but they are fully involved, fully into it. The UniCredit Youth America's Cup.
Got down and turning.
So at this point of the regatta, the chance of Germany making the semi-finals is slim, but they are determined to make their mark on this regatta and do something special.
It's incredible to be part of the America's Cup. It has always been a dream since I've been a little child to be part of that, and now to have the chance to represent my country and be in a team for Germany. It's incredible, and I'm very grateful that I have this opportunity.
Hey, boat on leeward coming.
I mean, the AC40 is a great boat. It's super fast, way faster than everything we sailed.
I'm very excited to be racing this boat in front of Barcelona.
Down, 2, 1, turning.
Transition from the Ilka 7 to the AC40 is quite big, because you go from a very slow boat to a very fast boat, from a boat which is sailed by 1 person to a boat which is sailed by 4. I feel like it's a very good opportunity to evolve as a sailor, but also work in a team and be a good teammate.
What is typical for our team is that we all are super calm on the boat. In stressful situations, this will help a lot.
Maybe you have to watch the boundary.
We've just basically spent a lot of time together, trying to put ourselves in different kind of stressful situations. If it's in the simulator or on the J70 doing some match race drills, that's how we try to get along in the communication and get better and better every day.
Paul Farin is our team leader. He started this whole campaign with Mark Pickle. And yeah, he's done a great job leading us into the right direction, and is also the other helmsman. Very experienced in foiling boats with a lot of titles in the Moth and in the Wasp. Sailed 49er before, so hugely experienced in fast boats. Yeah, I'm very grateful that I can trust him and have a strong helmsman by my side.
Then my co-trimmer on the other side is Jesse Lindstedt, sailing catamarans and moth. He's just a fast sailor. He can get everything out the boat.
And also in team communication, he's a very detailed guy and expert in optimizing all the different parameters. Tom Heinrich, he sailed 49er for the last years. A very calm guy, very relaxed in high pressure moments. He's performing, very reliable guy.
What makes my position special in the boat is, I think, my Olympic campaigning in the 49er. Yeah, you learn so much, and this is the point where I can bring a lot into this campaign. Then we have Maru Scheel, and she's also coming from the 49er FX, so knows the boat handling pretty well.
Has good ideas on how we can optimize our performance.
To win the UniCredit Youth America's Cup, it definitely takes a lot. Overview of the race course, boat handling, speed of course, and going to be super exciting.
So AC Team Germany and the UniCredit Youth America's Cup, and that last race 4, was a good result for them because they'd started off with a 4th. That was their second 4th, so they were banking points. And when we talk about little time in these boats, to see them start improving was a really positive sign yesterday.
No, it certainly was, and the Germans in general, really good at sailing high-performance, fast boats, and throughout the Olympic sailing programs and other international classes, high-performance programs as well. Germans always love pushing technology and the boundaries, and it's fantastic to see them here in this format.
And that's what you do, Shirley, when... actually, is there a standard card game played by sailors?
Glenn.
Surely.
Oh, okay.
Uno, I think they're playing Uno.
Uno, and also feeding the bodies. That's Maru Scheel and her team of AC Team Germany. Still no racing at the moment on this day of the UniCredit Youth America's Cup, and our team are out there just doing as much work as they can. Remember, of course, the AC teams were supposed to sail today as well. Alrighty, let's move on. Let's bring in more racing from yesterday because it was a bumper of a day. Let's go to fleet race number 5 in Group B.
Oh, the Dutch still out of bounds there, so not sure what's happening there with the Dutch team, but they've obviously got an issue on board for whatever reason, and they will be in big trouble to make this race here at the moment, Shirley.
The Dutch have been instructed actually not to take part in the race, so they will get some points. They obviously have a problem with the boat.
Okay, so it's going to be a 5-boat race, so they'll pick up, if my memory serves me correct, sort of the average points, won't they, Shirley? So that sits at around, because they've been instructed, it sits around, my understanding is 4 points. They'll get points, but it's not going to be enough.
It's a disaster for the Dutch team. They really needed a good race.
So it's race 5, Group B. 90 seconds to go before a start. One of the big guns is out.
Below. Stand by. 15 knots in. 2. 30. 1. 30. Hold. 275 under.
All of them much more confident at starting than at the beginning of the day.
Rolling down a little bit more. How do you like the pressure?
All the teams
just at boat end.
vertical learning curve at the moment.
200 to boundary. 150 to boundary.
Still looks boat end biased, the right-hand side of the start line. Expect them to be fighting for that.
Pressing. 11 to kill. They're going behind us. I'll be rolling up here. Killing slow. 11 to kill.
Swedish Artemis Racing.
Rolling up here.
Great position there.
7 to kill. 30 to go. Your 10 to kill again.
Canada needing a good race. Just out of the top 3.
5 to kill. 5 to kill. Getting slow.
Expect the Australians to be tacking in the next couple of seconds there as well. On a slow tack there.
4 to kill. Killing slow. 4 to kill.
Lovely control by Sweden. Push the Canadians away.
Let's go again. Race 5, Group B, UniCredit Youth America's Cup. Good starts once again by Andu Team Australia and the Swedish Challenge powered by Artemis.
Spain made the best start, 10 meters back, and a great start by our leaders, Sweden.
the Canadians, unfortunately, off the foils there pre-start, so they'll have a bit of work to do to dig their way back into this.
45 to zone. Over that, keep. And softer here, Oscar.
Big push to the left-hand boundary.
2-1, puff on. First boat in the zone, but no issue. Hope we will have a clear tag from no slower for me. Pressing my board. Yeah. 26 is your target. Either to get fast here. Yeah, I have to get fast. I copy. And on again. Yeah. Your board. Yeah.
Spanish team getting out early.
Yep, stand by. Rip the board, guy. 5-1. Board down. Big gas on entry. Runners there. Big gas on entry. 2-1. We'll clear any mode. Don't lower. Under up.
Swedish tacking underneath there of Andrew Team Australia. So really even race here for the top 3 positions here. So all about locking the boat in here and sailing accurately on the way to the top of the course to maintain an advantage over your opponents if you can.
Peter Lester, Chase Area get the feeling that they all know there's big points on the line here as we start to run out of races in the round robin.
Yeah, it's starting to shuffle out now. What the tactic the Swedish team are using, which is interesting pre-start, is to go wide right and then just wait for about 35 seconds to go and then pull the trigger. The Australians coming to leeward of them and then get to the boundary, and they're assuming there's going to be a lane to come back on port, and that's how that one played out, and that's why the Aussies at the moment have the lead.
How good does this look? 4 boats lined up. That's what we're talking about. If you're a Canadian fan wondering what's been going on, Canada has now started. As you can see, Anna are on the racetrack. They had a problem inverting their mast, so it took them a while to get going.
The Australian team here having to nail this next lay line into the top mark, so they'll be eyeing up where they need to tack there, looking to execute well from here. They'll have a solid lead if they can keep the boat on the foils.
It all feels familiar, doesn't it? Last 2 races, I think it was, in fact, on that top mark for the first time, Andrew Team Australia leading the rest of the boats through the top gate, but this battle between them and Sweden well underway now.
Performance here, boys.
Australians sailing beautifully in a straight line.
15 seconds. Bobby.
So into the top gate for the first time and first of 4 legs. Feels like a rinse and repeat, doesn't it? Andrew Team Australia around the top gate first. Following them through will be the Swedish Challenge, powered by Artemis Technologies, the points leader in Group B. Sail Team Barcelona not too far behind at the opposite mark. They will be playing follow the leader behind them because it's AC Team Germany showing huge improvement from earlier in the day.
Top 3 boats around the top mark are the top 3 in the standings. So if you're trying to break into that top 3, you've got to get going.
Australian team there executing their jibe well, back up to speed. Pressure on all these teams to do well. The Swedish, beautiful jibe as well. So all eyes now on the Spanish and Germans.
And just a reminder, if you're a fan of Yacht Team Dutch Sail, they were advised not to start this race. Advised not to start this race. They will get points, but they are in big trouble in Group B.
Quite a drop in pressure than we've seen in the other races. All looks quite a lot more manageable than the earlier races.
Board with the Spanish team here.
So this second leg, the downwind leg, and it's the Swedes are trying to track down the Aussies. The Aussies haven't done anything wrong at this point.
Stephen, I'm going to punch you in the head if you give this the commentator's curse.
Okie dokie.
No.
Message received. Understood.
Really, really easy to... we've done that twice now, saying they're going well. The Swedes will be absolutely putting them in the crosshairs.
Important jibe, this.
I'm just moving 5 feet away. Oh my goodness, they've done it again. And do Team Australia open the door for the Swedish challenge.
And they've just sailed right on by the Swedish, just keeping it low and level there.
Let's just remind ourselves, of course, they're in a race for this 3rd position, right? And Concord Pacific Racing from Canada, well,
they're just keeping the Traveller too high there, way too close to centre line there, and just not allowing that new foil to pierce the water and get hooked up. And when it does go in, it basically is fully ventilated, so you've got absolutely no grip. So the Aussies there going to be having to sail well here to try and reel in that Swedish team.
Oh, the Swedish team back in the lead. Feels familiar for them, but the encouraging thing is and do Team Australia are back up and falling and sitting in position 2, just to try to get themselves around this bottom gate to head up for leg number 3.
5 off the turn up.
And that's good because there's no blood flowing in the commentary position.
Australia just need a top 3 finish. They don't need to go for the win. It's just all about promotion to the next round. Keep it simple, keep it smooth.
Sail Team Barcelona doing exactly that, surely. They are sitting in that top 3 position as well.
Touchdown. This will be a full rebuild if they're not careful. For the Spanish here, they need to put the bow down and ease those sails, get the windward heel, put the bow down and get popped again as quickly as they can. Otherwise, they will get mown down by the Germans. Really important to get these re-catches and backfoiling quickly. So it's a big gear change, big ease of all the gear. Big retrim and they're backfoiling again now.
ACT Germany coming around to complete leg 2 of 4. Taking it nice and easy. The 4th position in the last race. Good points for Maru Shiel and her team.
Pressing nose attach.
High nose. Okay.
Hey. Speed Maru. They go all the way, guys. Here.
Australians and Swedes there. Good gains back to the Aussie team on that right-hand side.
Heading hard here. Hit right in. Quite slow. Reaches down, pressing more. And speed's coming in. On target again.
Pete.
Okay. Good gains on this ride.
Yeah, a bit of a change out here, that all of a sudden the wind is cranked a solid 20 degrees to the right. And that's why the Australians have got a piece and got right back into Sweden after that touchdown on leg 2.
Grip now or no to building angle here. And got you. Good brace all the way. And 27 is target. Over that building. Turn and trim out. Left gate very favored. Okay, just before us here on target. Possibly down range on jet here again.
And do Team Australia have done a massive job on this upward leg to get back into the P1, and this is the penultimate leg.
They have great pace. I mean, how impressed are you, Glenn?
I'm just going to say nothing from here and just lean back on my chair. And I'm going to watch this play out. So, no, the Aussie team getting the boat around the track well in a straight line, but they really need to unload the aero package, get that foil immersed in the water in the jibes, and be able to get the boat through cleanly. So, straight line sailing, they are absolutely dialed in and doing a beautiful job. Coming up against the Swedish, who've spent a lot of time on these boats, so great that they're up with these guys.
Big wave here.
Keep it smooth, lads.
Press 5. Keep pressing. Be behind.
Happy days, but look at this intersection.
Yeah, hold it.
Just a little dip here for the Australians.
Come up ASAP. Yep. 2 wide. Coming up. Coming up. 4 down.
And in theory, the Australian team should lead through this gate.
15 off the turn left. Copy that. 8 tack to 5.
Good battle for first in this 5th race of Group B in the UniCredit Youth America's Cup. One more leg to go. It's the homebound leg. Downwind. Big points required here by Australia to almost close out that 3rd spot.
Keep it safe, guys. 20 seconds. Nice pressure here.
This will be a great battle on this final downwind for both these two teams. Pushing hard. 36, 37 knots of boat speed.
If they go early, 35,
Magnificent shot of them following each other and the amount of speed they're getting. Look at this, just ripping downwind.
Okay, jibing in 3, 2, 1. We're down. They're matching, Mara will. On and angle. And 1, hold up. They match the chalk up. Excellent. Putting in this burger. Okay.
And breathe for all of us and everybody watching.
Just keep it hot. Wave here, wave.
South Team Barcelona are around at the top gate. Following close, it's been a good race too for AC Team Germany. Concord Pacific Racing still not out of it, but a little bit of work to do.
Not giving it the commentator's curse again. The Australian team, but Team Germany.
Copy. We need to go down.
So there's been a lead change, another lead change. Here's what happened.
No clear of the jibe there and just accelerating the Australians. And a big vent. Quite loaded on the sail plan there, quite slow exiting that jibe. Sailing back into the power zone there, full thrust in the rig. Making that little foil work hard.
But most importantly, they got out, recovered well. They're still in position 2.
Pressure on the Swedish team now to execute this last manoeuvre before the finish.
A bit downrange here on Jim, so keep it powered up. 2, 1, rolling down. Hit down to angle. Getting 33. Coming you down.
Swedish pulling off their manoeuvre. Australians needing to sail this cleanly now.
Nice. Currently. Copy. Looks quite stable there. 35 or 34. 35. Copy.
So how about this? Back and forth between Andu Team Australia and the Swedish Challenge powered by Artemis Racing, but they are on track to do 3 in a row.
Up to target 34.
The Swedish Challenge.
Okay, rolling down to 10. I see waves here. 2, 1 now.
They've done it again. That's a 3 from the last 3 for the Swedish Challenge powered by Artemis Racing. Another 10 points, and they will be followed home by Andu Team Australia. They had their moments, and they had plenty of moments, but they still pick up the 7 points. That might just be enough to keep them in that top 3. Completion of race 5 yesterday in Group B fleet racing in the UniCredit Youth America's Cup. 1-1-1. Doesn't it look good for the Swedish Challenge powered by Artemis? But then that was probably the point where really they said, okay, we are going to power our way into the semi-finals of this competition in the coming week, and do Team Australia. But consistency, and when you look at the top 3, it's consistency and scoring is the key. When you're getting 10, 7 and 5, we always said that would be a massive advantage, didn't we, Shirley, going forward in this regatta?
Yeah, the points are really loaded to a podium spot. So if you're Artemis Swedish Challenge with 3 wins on the bounce, you're looking pretty good in that position. And you know, they really want to showcase, don't they, how practiced they are, how ready they are to challenge for this whole overall event.
And they also wanted to send a signal to the Group A teams, the America's Cup teams, that, you know, we're an invited team, but guess what? We're going to bring the heat. Just a reminder, that red line is the cut line. The top 3 teams in Group A and Group B will go forward into the 4-race semi-final. Then the top 2 will then go into the singular match race final on September the 26th, which is actually the first day of the Louis Vuitton Cup final, which is a cracker. Let's talk about, just quickly, Concord Pacific Racing out of Canada. The one thing, Glenn, that we've noticed is learning a lot, but it always seems very Canadian, just very nice and relaxed. They're not trying to push too hard and upset themselves.
They're certainly not, they're not blowing the doors off as far as trying to take on things with the boat that they're not comfortable with doing. And they've got the boat around the track pretty cleanly, and they've put themselves in some really solid positions, so they should be happy with the way they're going.
Yep, representing the Royal Vancouver Yacht Club, Concord Pacific Racing. So, and as we move forward in this regatta, just keep your eye on them, because they are still in the game. It might be just in the game, but they're still in the game. So this is the first time Concord Pacific Racing have sailed an AC40. They actually haven't exactly dominated, but write them off at your peril. One win is all it's going to take to put them in contention to win a place in the semi-finals.
The wind's gone back to 15 left.
We are super excited to be here. It's been a long time coming, and a lot of training's gone into this, and yeah, we just can't wait to get going. It always means a lot to have a Canadian team part of this, and to be part of the America's Cup again in this form is really cool for us.
It's awesome to be able to represent Canada, one of the biggest stages in sport and sailing. Can't really put it into words. It's such a great opportunity for all of us, so we're super excited.
I've been putting super long hours in the sim, just in an effort to utilize what we've got as best we can, and it's been incredibly helpful. You know, our first time stepping on the boat was quite a seamless transition because of the long hours that we put in the sim, and you know, things just like having the right instincts and the right muscle memory for when you get on the boat was super helpful. It was quite a smooth transition.
I have Andrew Wood driving for me, and I've known him for a very long time. When I first started sailing 49er, the first regatta I went to out of Nova Scotia where I live, he was there, and we've sailed together a few times, but I think the fact that we knew each other for so long before has really helped, and we have a great relationship now, and we're really good.
We feel very confident with each other, and we can sort of predict what the other is going to do. Then on the other side, we've got Andre Van Dam trimming and Galen Richardson driving. I'm really excited with the team we've got together. Developing our communication has been one of the most important parts about learning how to sail this boat. I think one thing that we did have going for us was that a lot of us had sailed boats where we had needed to use very effective communication, even in Olympic classes and things like that. So it was more of a tweak of how you're using your communication.
My wheel coming up.
Not too close.
I think starting is one of the things that is probably going to be the most different from the sim to on the water. So it's something that we just need to have a really clear plan for. Your port helm is really setting you up for that start. But at the end of the day, it really is a team effort, because as much as they're driving the boat and, you know, keeping you fast and keeping you out of the way of others, which is quite a big job, we have on the other side have our tactical screen that we're looking at, and we're judging our time to the line and our time to tack. So it's really, you know, all hands on deck during the start. In our pool initially, I think the clear team that's going to have the big leg up is going to be the Swedes. You know, they've had their 40 out here, they've been training, they've been doing practice starts with all the cup teams. So I think at this point, people that have had a lot of time on the boat are going to be the threats.
All right, I'd like to go through the finish if we can.
One of our biggest goals in this is to obviously do as well as we can, but also, you know, inspire the youth of Canada to get out, get foiling, and get into it. It's a very, very exciting time, and I really hope that this continues for Canada.
Yeah, helmsman Andrew Wood from Concord Pacific Racing is saying the one thing that if you've got more time on these boats, you're going to have an advantage. I'm not so sure when you see the improvement we've seen at teams. I mean, you know, they're still around. They're getting better every time. They're taking their time, but they're getting there.
Absolutely. I think as we've seen with all the teams is every few minutes that they're sailing on these boats, you know, they're learning more and more, and they're, you know, pushing harder and harder. I think we've seen the racing get closer and closer as the races go, particularly with this Group B team.
And braver and braver. They're really sending it. I mean, impressive on this boat is actually Georgia Lune LaFrance, who until a few weeks ago, was fully focused on the Olympics. She represented Canada in the women's skiff. I think she finished 11th with her sister. So has had a really short time, even in the simulator, to get ready for this, but has been very impressive.
So we delayed racing for this day of the UniCredit Youth America's Cup. There's Team Canada, Concord Pacific Racing, just hanging around along with the rest of the fleet. We hope to have an update on the race situation soon here in Barcelona. But in the meantime, what did we bring you? More racing from yesterday. It was the final race in Group B for the day, and it was race number 6. We are aware that Spain might have some problems now.
What's the course square for? 95.
Okay, so let's we've got about a minute and a half to go. Peter Lester, thoughts on this one?
Oh, big moment for the Australians. Massive down the hatch there. Oh, that's a monster nosedive in that manoeuvre. They're going to have to try and empty their cockpits. They've got a minute to do it and restart the boat here. That was a massive, massive moment there, nearly straight over the front there.
Just over a minute to go.
I think we must win here.
They'll have lost all their gear and instrumentation there, so big moment for the Australians here. The other team's lining up for a start, so big job to do here, the Aussies.
That's all good. Question? Yeah, very good. Gonna get going here. Yeah.
Germany, the Netherlands heading back.
Gonna be in a pump through the line racing.
Good call on the Aussie boat to get across the line. They have 3 minutes to do it.
Minutes open. Okay, we come here, so for a high kill. Yeah, coming up here. Copy that. En dan gaan we in. Okay, een hold angle here. In to kill midline. 26. Even langzamer. Duitsers zijn langzaam hier.
Massive speed build from the Swedish team out to the right of the course. The Canadians coming in, they'll have to tack to get through the line. Germany and the Dutch team looking pretty good, but and Team Australia having to drain that cockpit. That'll be a ton of water in there. They'll have to exit before they get going. They will very much be behind off this start.
We will have a start in race 6, Group B of the UniCredit Youth America's Cup, but one of the hot teams is out for the moment.
It is 26. Gonna get something from the right here as well. Going strong.
Apparently the Australians were doing something like 33 knots when that happened.
And 3 over still, Oscar.
Yeah. That cockpit will be still chockers full of water.
And we're gonna reach a good pressure here in 5.
This is an absolute big one. Rubber out of the water there, bang, and gone, and that is a massive, massive stop. 33 knots to stop in about half a boat length.
That is a car crash. The sailors very well protected.
Yeah, the old goggle peeler, that'll get you. But they will be struggling to get round the racetrack in this race. But the Swedish team off the line well and sailing nicely, as are the Dutch, who need to have a couple of good races here.
Let's go and get down to Peter Lester. Peter.
That was exciting, and you could just see, you know, a moment's lapse of concentration, and whammo, the whole game changes yet again. But what doesn't change is the Swedish team, and they're probably not quite as fast, in my opinion, as the Australians in a straight line, but my word, their manoeuvres and their course awareness and management of the course and the opposition, in terms of the invited teams, they are the gold standard.
Well, we've had it all today, haven't we?
Certainly have.
The Australians have started, so if they do have to retire, they will get some points.
95 degrees. First updated.
Some great racing here, though, with the top 4 teams. The Canadians not far out of the top 3 positions here, so...
The Australians are up and foiling. They have no wind gear, so they're absolutely sailing blind, but determined to get the points.
Well, so from our statistical people, Canada would actually need to win to finish ahead of Australia. So if Australia have started, they do. If they need to retire, they'll get a point. But so it's really on the Canadians here.
Well, as we've seen, anything can happen, but the Swedish team sailing very cleanly at the moment, so That's how you attack an AC40 in bumpy water.
Like it's on rails. They're making it look easy, the Swedish team.
And in the background, you can see Sail Team Barcelona underway as well. So the full fleet is sailing in Race 6, Group B, UniCredit Youth America's Cup on the waters of Barcelona.
Got the mark. Bullet here, 2-1. Trim to this angle. Way over target here. No lower than this. Eating out here, coming in hot. 20 away.
So for the first time in a number of races, it will be the Swedish Challenge leading the rest of the teams around at the top gate for the first time, completing leg 1 of 4. They will be followed in by Yacht Team Dutch Sail. Concord Pacific Racing from Canada are coming in. They will get through as well. They'll take an opposing mark, and just behind them will be AC Team Germany.
They want to get speed up. You're clear. Okay, we're bearing away now.
In fact, AC Team Germany have taken the lead on that mark rounding.
110.
120. 130. You've just got that one boat at 11 o'clock.
Copy. They're going to have right of way.
Copy.
Should we go early? I'm fine.
I think we're crossing.
Yep.
Jack, sitting. Yep.
Steering is Georgia Lewin of France.
Big wave.
Way off their main sheet targets there, Concord Pacific Racing, so Traveller up round their ears. Boats will be exactly right, boats a little slow, that'll be the reason.
It's a big letdown, eh?
Meanwhile, at the front of the fleet, it is the Swedish Challenge powered by Artemis Technology just racing away at this point in the race.
Battery at 13, we got to go.
Truly the now formed team of this group.
Good mode here. A little bit low here. Ley line much safer now. More build before the dive here. Yeah, pressing. Good catch. 18 away. Now push it slat. Boundary 20, so. 3 slow here. Coming up. Next spot. Yeah, stand by.
Great comms,
3, 2,
Swedish
1,
team.
more down. Big grip. 2, 1, forward up. And holding down 1 extra. And I got you, you're good. 2, 1, and we're up.
Lovely and smooth, patient turns.
We're not that fast here, Oscar. Probably not sure about lay yet. Okay, good. Can always go left. Yeah. Probably not having lay. 34 is on target here. And on target.
They're coached by America's Cup winner Carl Langford from Australia.
Yeah, let's go left. Yeah.
Done a good job.
Push low though, as long as you got speed. On target. Coming low. Good. Here we go. And no slower. 15 delay. Up in building before jab. Definitely wavy down here. Yeah. Keep it a bit fast.
Yeah, this is the danger zone, the bottom of the track, really wavy.
Stand by. Hold it a bit.
This is the best race we've seen Yacht Team Dutch Sail compete in thus far, so big stall on the head of the jib there. The Dutch team, so all the teams needing to accurately trim the sail package on these AC40s.
3, 2, 1, turning up.
And Swedish Challenge around the gate, finished 2 legs, head on up, leading the fleet. It's all calm on board. The Swedish Challenge powered by Artemis Technologies.
Big one on the right in 20.
This is the race committee. We are moving the windward gate, shortening the course to 1 nautical mile.
As we see, Yacht Team Dutch Sail, it might just be a case of what might have been. When you go back and look at the early races in this series, race 2 they finished 3rd, race 3 they finished 3rd. They didn't get involved in race 1, and of course, as we saw these other 2 races, they finished 5th in race 4, and that loss of not being able to race in the last race really cost them. But they get around to complete 2 legs of 4. Here comes Concord Pacific Racing. If they want to save themselves, they actually have to win the race.
Really slow, canting under.
Team Dutch Sail haven't had a huge amount of time in these boats, Shirley, and it just shows that time on the boat is worth something. As we see the Swedish team extending away, but the Australians digging their way back into this race, so they'll be waiting for a little mistake from anyone in front of them to try and get back into get another point or two. On board there with Cole Tapper and Tom Needham getting ragdolled in the leeward cockpit there.
And do Team Australia. That big stuff before the start. Moved themselves into 4th position. Come back to stay in the top 3 as well and truly alive.
27 and waves here. 832 stone. And here.
If you're Canada, you are hoping someone's going to make a mistake, and particularly Sweden, which could be a big ask. They've been absolutely on point and flawless all day.
They're only one wobble away though from a big endo, and the Swedish team, I'm sure, have certainly been in that situation before learning to sail these boats. They've spent the most time on the water, and they would have had their wobbles as well. They'll be hoping not to have any more themselves.
Let's go to Chase Zero, Peter Lester. Just quickly, changing weather conditions, Peter?
No, it hasn't changed too much. It's the sea state. It's all about the sea state. Ian Murray, the race officer, has just shortened the course up a little bit. So that means that the Swedish team now have only got one tacking into that top mark. And, you know, what's stepped them apart from everyone else is it's just how rock solid they are. Not only course management, especially handling the sea state with manoeuvres.
Thanks, Peters. The Swedish challenge, powered by Artemis Technologies, once again showing the way for the rest of this Group B fleet. They have one more leg to go to produce a dominant Saturday.
And that was a really rip it away, bear away. Really, really nicely done there. Straight down the course. Very, very confident manoeuvre there.
Sail Team Barcelona were going well, but they've had a moment.
Your side or my side? My side. Feels like I'm flying out. Yeah, no, see you, David.
Well, this is what happened to Spain. Let's have a look. Looks good for a while. So crucial to get the timing right on those waves.
Yacht Team Dutch Sail in position 2. They get around the top mark. They're on the homeward leg.
Ja, zo één bakboordboot. Als we een snelle motor hebben, gaat het goed, denk ik.
Concord Pacific Racing from Canada coming in position 3. They will be ruining that 6th position back in race 4 when they were sitting in position 2, and with maybe a quarter of the course to go, they were lining up the finish line. And the drive went to Custon. Boy, getting it around, taking it easy. Concord Pacific Racing are on the homeward leg.
Oh, big moment there. That was Maxie's on the Trav, and I heard Max, and I'm like, here we go. And that was nearly an absolute down the gurgler moment for them, but they managed to survive. They'll need to get the boat back on the foils again, though, because the Australians are not far off this top gate, so big speed build here for the Canadians to get back in the race.
Well, again, Concord Pacific Racing will have handed another team more vital points. That team will be Andu Team Australia. They are around the gate, as you can see on the right-hand side of your screen.
The Swedes lined up for the finish line here, coming down in good shape.
So, to finish off a Saturday of racing, in race number 6 of Group B, they are the form horse in the field. The Swedish challenge, powered by Artemis Technologies, will make it 4. That's right, 4 race wins in a row.
2, 1, 4 down.
I can imagine the Swiss team were pretty happy about that. 4 in a row. Read 'em and weep. So at the end of the day, with still 2 fleet races to go, the Swedish challenge, powered by Artemis Technologies, 4 in a row, and they are 20. That's right, 20 points, 2 full race wins ahead of Andu Team Australia, and then Sail Team Barcelona on the back of that 1 win, still hanging in there in 3rd position on 28 points. Now they're just above the cut line because the team that, if you remember, Yacht Team Dutch Sail had a did not start in race 1 and a instructed not to race in race 5, but they still picked up 8 points for that, are now sort of sniffing around that 3rd position, and Concord Pacific Racing are not out of it as well. If we just play a little mathematical game, if there was potentially 1 more race today, the Netherlands need to finish 1st or 2nd to get into the final series, but more importantly for Concord Pacific Racing, they need a win, desperately need a win, and they would have to hope that Sail Team Barcelona would have a bad day out. So in many ways, it's one of those toss a coin in the air and see what happens. But if we do get racing, those are just some of the computations that our magnificent statistics teams have thrown at us to have a bit of a chat about. So that was quite simply the end of racing yesterday, and that was race 6 of 8. Remember, they're all going to sail 8 fleet races, and the top 3 go through to make the semi-finals. So let's talk about the Swiss, an elite squad selected that will want to prove they can mix it with the on-board teams by the end of the series.
Yeah, it's really cool to come to this place every day. We have amazing infrastructure, and to be around the team, around the big team, it gives us extra motivation. When I was a little boy, I used to buy a Lingy t-shirt with my pocket money, and now to be able to wear it fills me with pride.
Yeah, so we discovered the boat at the beginning of the year, and we sailed on it quite a lot, and now we're also going into racing by doing a lot of simulator hours. We're getting more into details. We did also a lot of data analysis.
To prepare for the Youth America's Cup, I think for all of us youth sailors, it's a new world we're discovering. So we have to get a bit used to all the procedures and all the stuff that surrounds sailing. It's not only about sailing, but once we're on the water, it's as any other boat we ever done. It's about sailing, having hours, and getting experience.
The training is going pretty well so far. We had a good push now in spring and beginning of summer, and we're happy where we are.
Yeah, I expect amazing racing on these machines, the AC40s. I think it will be really close. All the teams are preparing now on the water. We see them ripping around. It will be quite spectacular to race with 6 boats on the start line.
Like I said, I think racing is going to be amazing. These boats are made for race. It's like a small karting. So the best will be most probably the stars or the tight situations. So yeah, I'm really looking for racing.
For sure, I expect to give my best and fight for a win. But on another hand, I also expect to shine my competences and my skills for the next America's Cup.
I think, as everyone wants, we want to win. So that's our main goal. But I think I'm feeling already pretty lucky to be in this team and to be able to live this adventure with everyone, so really happy about that.
I'm really looking forward for the first race, for the first crossing, and being on the starting line. And I can already feel a bit the adrenaline that it will give me, and I love it.
My expectations for Youth America's Cup are to have an awesome event and really just looking forward that we can bring the best out of our team and have no regrets, and can say after the regatta that we gave it all.
Looking forward to compete in Barcelona.
Yes, Lingy Red Bull Racing, one of the America's Cup teams in Group A. Now, we have been advised by the race management that Group A will not take place today. not to take place today, which is a bit of a shame for all the sailors that have been hanging around on the docks for pretty much most of the day. But this surely is a team that's embedded, and very lucky to be embedded with the Lingy Red Bull Racing, who are no longer in the Louis Vuitton 37th America's Cup, but huge support, huge support.
Yeah, and I'm sure more support now. A lot of the coaching team that were with the 75 will have moved over to help them. A huge motivation to get some races in today to make sure we get the full complement of races. So race management waiting. Yeah, we are waiting indeed. We're still waiting around for Group B, and the Artemis crews are entertaining themselves. Is it the Macarena? I'm trying to think if that's the Macarena or not, but we'll just leave that alone. Grant Dalton on the left and Abby Ealer on the right, in charge of the UniCredit Youth America's Cup and the Pooch Women's America's Cup, which is a first. We're excited about that one, wanting to get racing going, but Mother Nature is not really playing ball. What's the weather doing, Shirley? Well, we have been very patient. Everyone is very patient, waiting for the southerly breeze to build, but it is cloudy, so it's really slow in really establishing itself. We are seeing between 5 and 8 knots, sometimes a little bit more actually from the south, which is the direction we're hoping for. So kind of on the edge, and a good confidence perhaps for something to build as we progress. Yeah, lowest of the wind limit has to be at least 7.5. Anyway, 7.5 knots. Let's take you back to the start of Group A. That's right, a few days back. And here's fleet race number 1.
This is the race committee. We have passed the wind test, and this race is live.
That is the best news we have heard all day. We are going to get racing on the official first day of the UniCredit Youth America's Cup, although the French appear to be a little bit of bother getting up, and here's hoping our Express Lower Racing get going. The defender of this Youth America's Cup, Zenith Pathways Great Britain, are below the start line and looking strong. Minute 45 go. They must have thought a half an hour ago we're not going to be racing. Suddenly, game on. Boy, they're going to have to switch on quick. You can never think that. You have to say absolutely locked on. All the teams up and flying.
Yeah, they're definitely going to have plenty on, because the breeze has kicked in pretty reasonably well, and all teams on the big J1, so pretty much over range with these big sails. They wouldn't have had time to actually change from the big jibs, so all the teams potentially well and truly over range, which will be pretty exciting to get the boats around the track.
And massive waves, going to make any manoeuvring fully challenging.
Yeah, we are going to see plenty of action here coming up in the next few minutes, so it's very, very tricky to get the boats around. A lot of work for the trimmers and helmsmen on these AC40s.
Just remember, these are points scoring races, 10 for a win. And this was the first of potentially 8 races. And man, we hope we get plenty of this racing in, because this is going to go off. Race 1 not too far away, coming up to 30 seconds to start.
Italy tacked, final approach for the line.
Americans really early there on the line. I'll be having to duck down.
Great Britain on the right-hand corner.
It is on day 1, race 1 of the UniCredit Youth America's Cup.
Ok, boys, VNG, solo cose facili. Forti scala sugli americani.
Well, the best start was the Italian, 7 meters back, flying in the middle of the line.
The Kiwis, penalty there, they had to wash off and had a little spin out there, so they'll be on the back foot early and having to chew their way back through the fleet here.
Marco Gridoni on Luna Rossa, accelerating well. He needs to get enough distance so he can tack at that boundary.
What is the best breeze here, mate? Up to the right of this. Just average. We have to get the room as a boundary. Just got the Americans coming around the transom. Little headers coming on here. Press it here, mate. Big press, big press, big press. Okay, stand by for it.
So the Italians there having boundary protection. They'll need to get the tack in, surely, and then clear the starboard tack. They're coming in just to windward of them, but behind, which I think they'll do pretty comfortably.
Great
Bridge their
Britain
tack.
joined them.
The Italians in a really commanding position here. The British also, along with the Americans, the top three boats.
Great pace from the Italians and height. They're really loving that left-hand side of the track.
Let's go onto the track. Pete Lester and Chase Zero. What do you make at the start? What do you make of the conditions right now, Pete, and how they're going to handle it?
The easier board will be this one, heading out on port. Starboard is really problematic, but what we're seeing now, the boats down to leeward are in a big header, so that means the wind has gone to the right, but Italy have stayed in the left-hand breeze as they stretch their lead, so we've got sort of two breezes playing out as they come up to about halfway up the first windward beat.
Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli in a league of their own on this upwind leg. They are fast and they are high.
Yeah, they have definitely hooked into a big lefty or a breeze that's coming out of the left. They've had an absolute blinder.
So at the top mark for the first time in this UniCredit Youth America's Cup, it is Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. One of the favourites to win the whole thing around that top gate, and they certainly have gapped the fleet at this point in the race. Remember, that's leg 1 of 6 as they head downwind.
Lovely bear away from the Italians.
Following them in will be both American Magic and also Athena Pathways, Great Britain. French struggling at the back of the fleet at the moment.
England 2.
Then comes Emirates Team New Zealand, who had to wash off a penalty at the start, followed by Lingy Red Bull Racing. They will round the mark and head downwind, but look at the lead that Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli has on the fleet. 28 seconds at that gate to
This is the umpires, boundary penalty France.
So France
This is the umpires. France is disqualified outside the boundary more than 85 metres.
Wow. Straight up. Disqualified. No points for France in race 1. They're gone from race 1.
A massive blow for Orient Express. I think there's something not quite right with the boat. Huge disappointment. Now remember, the name of the game of this qualifying series is to be in the top 3. It's not necessarily about winning races, but 3 of these boats will go into the next. Oh, massive touchdown by Luna Rossa.
Look how quickly they've recovered.
Really nice recovery there. That could have been a lot worse.
This is the race committee. We are moving the windward gate, lengthening the course to 1.1 nautical miles.
Ok, perfetto, it is. Ora andiamo anche sul gate col bias. No dritti. Ok, sono function, boys.
Just having a look here at a little replay of what happened there, and just punching through the back of a wave there. A really good job at saving the boat.
Yeah, how well you recover, really important in conditions like this and in this competition. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli complete 2 legs of 6 in the opening day of the UniCredit Youth America's Cup. Flying and throwing it around. In comes American Magic. They're being watched from shore and on screens large and small by their senior team who are in the game tomorrow, trailing 1-4 in their Louis Vuitton Cup semi-finals. They get around 28 seconds behind. No change to the delta from the top mark.
That was an awesome mark rounding there by the US team, really ripping it round. Good gains.
Lingy Red Bull Racing currently in third position. They get around the mark. It's a clean rounding. They go upwind for leg number 3.
Happy to go for,
They come firing in like arrows, don't they, into these marks. Next will be Emirates Team New Zealand and the defender of the Youth America's Cup, Athena Pathways, Great Britain. They've recovered pretty well from their penalty start, and they're up and racing and heading towards the top mark on leg 3.
Yeah, disaster of a leg for Great Britain. Rounded the top mark in second. Had a touchdown during a manoeuvre.
Big person, man. Yeah. You set up to attack whenever you want. Yeah, just need the speed. Speed's coming in.
It is so wavy, Glenn. I mean, just give us an understanding how tricky it is in these quite small boats and these massive waves.
Yeah, huge job trimming the sails in these conditions, and obviously steering the boat tricky as well, but the boat really moving up and down vertically and sideways quite a bit, so big job for the trimmers there. You see how much those sails are moving. Just having a little look at the British here. Shirley in a big foil vent there and a massive splashdown in that jibe. And a huge stop there, really hitting the brakes hard in that manoeuvre, and they've lost a lot of ground.
Yeah, they lost so much pace.
Okay, same with the Americans.
Looking at Luna Rossa, they look really locked in, and we had that lovely view of trimming of the mainsail, tiny adjustments, and really seem to have found a groove.
Let's go to chase 0. Peter Lester, what do you like about what the Italians are doing right now?
Just reminds me of when we were in Jeddah last year when Marco Gradoni really threw down a marker, and that was in the big game against all the America's Cup teams, and he's just picked up, you know, from where he was in Jeddah in similar sort of conditions with pretty solid breeze. All the boats are overpowered, but Marco Gradoni really showing the art of how you sail an AC40.
Fly it like you stole it.
Yeah, he's quite a talent, Marco Gradoni, but his 3 teammates were not with him in Jeddah. They are brand new and have really had to bond and get the best out of the AC40.
Gianluigi Ugolini there, and he's on port. You just see how much steering's going on board these little AC40s. They're right on the edge of grip, bouncing themselves over the top of the waves, doing a great job there with Rocco Falcone trimming.
Okay, good course. Big wave here. Captain.
So Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, they've led the feat from the start, and they will now complete the halfway mark of this opening race in the UniCredit Youth America's Cup. They're doing the style, Tim, but why wouldn't you? You're Italian, you're all about style, but boy, they are flying this AC40 beautifully. And let's be blunt, it's gone from nothing to challenging conditions straight up.
Yeah, sailing the boats, particularly upwind with the big J1s as they do a big touchdown there on board Italy. They've still managed to keep the rig in the air though, and the foils in the water, pushing the boat hard back up to 33 knots, 34 knots in quite big waves for these little boats, doing a great job.
American Magic going around the mark as well. Pete, you were right there with that touchdown.
Yeah, that was a hold-your-breath moment for the Italians, but good recovery. They didn't panic. The rudder didn't pop out of the water. I'm very impressed by the Americans. They are handling their boat expertly, and they've got quite a lot of leverage split as they go downwind for the second time.
Slowly but surely, Emirates Team New Zealand have moved themselves up onto the leaderboard. They're now sitting in the 3rd position. They were 4th in the last leg. They've now picked up a position, and they will round that top mark in position 3, but they're a minute and 5 seconds behind Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli. Then comes Lingy Red Bull Racing, followed by Athena Pathways, Great Britain. So they've got their game back on. So there's a long way to go. 3 legs completed by these teams, 3 still to go. Wow, that's what they're dealing with.
Really close battle here for third position. As the Swiss going to a jibe there, so the manoeuvre's quite tricky, particularly in this seaway, but a really good battle here going on for that third position.
It is so important. This fleet does not know how many races there would be. This could potentially be it. You want to ensure you are in the top 3.
Tell you what's impressive today from what we've seen with the practice races is how quickly they've adjusted to the sea state and got themselves out of trouble, particularly this team you're seeing on screen right now. Luna also Prada Pirelli, you saw just before Mark Browning before they touched down, but they just got themselves out of trouble. It must be like riding a roller coaster right now, but Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli are handling it beautifully. Leg 4 of 6 completed as they whip their 40 around the bottom mark and head up.
These guys will have a grin on their face like a split watermelon. They'll be having a fantastic time. Just need to keep it together as the Americans come down to the bottom gate.
Keeping those 2 ball downs got to be important just for stability. That's the other thing too, I suppose, Glenn, the stability of these things in these conditions. You have to stay somewhat safe.
Yeah, the object of the game is to get the boat round the track, and got to keep that rudder in the water, and really, really important to keep pushing the boat hard. Sometimes when you slow down, it actually makes it more difficult to get through the seaway. So keeping the foot on the gas and sailing the boat well, really, really important, like it is on any high-performance dinghy in these conditions.
And the battle of the 3rd and 4th goes on. Lingy Red Bull Racing not letting go of Emirates Team New Zealand. The difference is just the 2 points. Actually, you get 5 points for 3rd and 3 for 4th. So those 2 points could be huge and have Emirates Team New Zealand get around.
I need to get the main sheet on there. Emirates Team New Zealand, massive twist in the mainsail there. So boat getting pretty out of balance. The Swiss coming round behind them. Pushing hard here. The big battle on here for this 3rd position. Emirates Team New Zealand having to keep sailing well.
There goes Athena Pathways, Great Britain around the bottom mark. Remember, we've already lost the French disqualified for going well out of bounds. So it's a 5-boat race, and the French will pick up 0 points in the opening race of the UniCredit Youth America's Cup. The fleet being led beautifully by Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli.
Kiwis go. Space pass? Yeah, I think so. You got 20 seconds.
Taking another look at the mark rounding here from the Kiwis, and you just see how twisted that main is and how much above centre line the Traveller is in the main just coming on there. So really out of balance there with the boat, making it really tricky to keep the boat under control, but they did a good job to get it rounding, not lose the rudder there. On a big touchdown there on the Italians. They've got to get the boat popped up again. Looks like they've really, really slowed down there for whatever reason. And back up and going there. So not sure whether the cant just went under a little further than they were hoping or what was going on there, but a big loss there compared to the Americans, but they're up and going again now.
It looks like it's getting harder and harder. We've had a slight increase in wind speed. We've now got 15, 16 knots.
Well over range now in these conditions with the J1 on board. So you'd normally be on a J3 now, so you'd actually be 2 jib codes down from where they are sailing at the moment. So
too much power.
Got too much power at the moment. Too much power at the front of the boat. You can see how twisted the jib is there. Everything absolutely maxed out. So all the team is really, really having to survive to get these boats around the track here at the moment. And it's the Americans there struggling to keep the boat under control.
Well, the sea state's not helping anything at the moment as Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli have survived their wee touchdown, and they bolt to the top gate for the last time. But hang on, we're not done with yet. Both boards are down as they get around. Wow, watch the mark, lads.
Full safety bear away here.
And they're on the homeward leg. They're looking at that first 10 points in the opening race of the UniCredit Youth America's Cup. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli on fire right now, followed in by American Magic, representing the New York Yacht Club.
The Americans full gas here. Not backing off at all at the moment.
Nice and slow.
And going for the one board bear away, so hang on to your hats.
2, 1,
Shoulders back, keep the bow out.
Okay.
And away you go. Nice job.
You happy if I take just
So boats 1 and 2 have gone around the top gate. In comes Emirates Team New Zealand. They've got away on Alinghi Redwood Racing, who've dropped behind and changed position, because now fourth is Athena Pathways Great Britain. Emirates Team New Zealand will want a clean rounding of this mark.
One board bear away for Emirates Team New Zealand. Nice smooth turn there, and I'll be happy to get round there in good shape.
In comes Athena Pathways Great Britain. Mind you, they are now being chased as Alinghi Red Bull Racing have found a little bit of speed on that upwind leg. They'll go opposite marks and head on down for the final leg of the 6-legger. Whoa! Okay.
Yeah, they'll have to build speed here and get foiling before they turn the boat downwind here. Alinghi Red Bull Racing, so need to take off and not turn the boat down while they're slow there.
Okay, we have the boundary here.
Last jibe there for the Italians, surely. They'll be wanting that finish line to come at them as quickly as possible.
Yeah, the toughest of conditions, but an absolute masterclass by Marco Gradone and his team.
Beautiful job, for sure, from the Italians.
In the opening race of the UniCredit Youth America's Cup, Marco Gradone and Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli have done a job on the fleet. It's start to finish
penalty Switzerland
for Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, and the maximum 10 points they get. That was an impressive first day for Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli on day one of Group A in the competition. They went on to win 3 more races. Now, we can advise you, racing has been called for the day here off the coast of Barcelona, and there will be no racing on a day when we will try to get Group B finished and get you the other 4 races of Group A in this UniCredit Youth America's Cup. What's it all about? Well, it's quite simple, really. They want one team can only win it, and hopefully by the end of tomorrow we'll be down to 6 teams. We're into the semi-finals, which are 4 races, and then we'll be into that final on the first day of the Louis Vuitton Cup final. That is so much to look forward to. So let's take a look at what you can look forward to. This is the teams. Now, the top 3, the cut line is always the red line. So the top 3 teams in each group, Group A and Group B, go through. Right now, Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli and Artemis Swedish Challenge are the 2 teams that are standing out as the ones to beat. Will that be the final? You will just have to wait and find out. Now, we have been advised that tomorrow, weather permitting, that we'll be back doing the same thing, or attempting to do the same thing. Try and finish off Group B, fleet race 7 and 8, and then try and get the final 4 fleet races of Group A underway. There are plenty of chances for teams to make an impression on the rest of the fleet, but we'll just have to wait and see. So it's not exactly been the perfect day wherever you've been watching around the world, but what we have displayed, though, over the last 2.5 hours, quite simply, is the fact that the fleet racing and the AC40s and the UniCredit Youth America's Cup are spectacular to watch, and we could not ask for anything better. Yes, we want to see wind and flags and stars of the future doing their thing. We certainly hope that you will join us tomorrow from 2 p.m. tomorrow local time with the first race set to go, which would be race 7 in Group B of the UniCredit Youth America's Cup. So a 2:10 start, but we will join you to build up to more spectacular racing from 2 o'clock in the UniCredit Youth America's Cup live from Barcelona.